Well, radio listeners, today I want to talk a little bit about gun control. We've got two major issues taking place. One really big one is the signing of the UN Gun Control Treaty. We're going to talk about the ramifications of that, but I thought I would segue into that by talking about my debate yesterday at the Riley County Fair. I was there with my buddies there at the Flint Hills Tea Party. We were at their booth. We were just enjoying life. And a liberal came over and he wanted to debate, wanted to have an argument. You could tell that. He came in and we wanted to give him a free pocket constitution, one of the things the folks there at the Flint Hills Tea Party give people. And he's like, "Why do I want one of those?" You know, he comes to us and then is offended when we want to give him the gift of having a pocket constitution. I said, well, you want to be armed with knowledge. Well, why do I want to be that way? And we got into this debate and on the different topics that he didn't agree with me as a conservative on was the issue of gun control. And it's interesting. I think it's important that radio listeners understand the difference between conservatives and liberals on this issue because it's a major important issue. It's the Second Amendment of the Constitution. When the Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution, they had free speech and your ability to defend it with the right to bear arms. And this guy was trying to say, well, we don't need to have those assault rifles because those are dangerous. And we get those assault rifles out of the way, we're going to be a lot safer. We don't need to have a lot of ammo. Don't have too much ammo. How much ammo can you need? Explain to me. Like a government official saying over your back, you want to get 3,000 rounds of ammo? Well, show me where you're going to use all that. Show me why you'd have any reason. I'm like, what reason do I need to give you? I'm a free American. I'm a non-felon. But I gave him 3 reasons, just to throw some reasons out there to him. I said hunting, self-defense, recreation. I want to go out and I want to hunt. Well, how many rounds do you need to shoot a deer? I want to quote it down. I don't know. If you're a good shot, maybe 1, maybe more. It doesn't matter. How many rounds do you need to go out and have recreation? I just can't see recreation. I don't care. If you can see that 500 rounds might be a real fun day at the target range. I don't have to quantify what my rights should be. Self-defense. What do you think there's going to be a mass influx of people or you're some kind of apocalyptic crazy person? Well, no, not exactly, Mr. Liberal. I certainly wouldn't want you knocking on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it doesn't matter. I don't have to quantify. That's the way the government does when they're restricting your rights on the way to taking them away. Is they say, well, there is no logical reason in our mind, and we're going to set the standard. He talked about high-capacity mags. Don't need to have no high-capacity magazines. Why would you need to have more than 5 rounds? Tell me why. Legitimate yourself. Where the real question is, why would you, as a liberal, think you have the right to tell me I have to have limited capacity rounds? What is your right to impinge my freedoms as a non-felon? If you're a felon, you go out and commit a felony, I think you lose that God-given right. And that's where it's at. The Constitution doesn't give you the right to bear arms. It simply validates the rights that God has given you already. That's what the Founding Fathers said. And it was very important that they did that. Because if the government gave you the right to bear arms, if it was just the government, then they could take it away, as this liberal at the fair wanted to do. His idea, and I brought it up to him, and I said, look, he brought up the case of the guy in Aurora, Colorado that killed all these people, this terrible tragedy, and used it as his example of it doesn't matter if you're a felon or a non-felon. Look what a non-felon, somebody that wasn't already in the system, look what they did. And my answer to that is simple. And you can take this in radio land and you can use this every time. When somebody breaks the law, you punish them for breaking the law. You punish that individual. But the way the liberal thinks is when someone breaks the law, you punish everyone because there's no individuality in the thinking of a socialist. Everybody is part of a mindless collective. They have no personal identity and most often no personal accountability. They certainly have no personal individuality. And so when someone does something bad, it's only proof to them that blanket initiatives should be put in place. That blanket program. So when this person, whether they were crazy, whether they were evil, whether they were just having a temper tantrum, and they go and violate people's right to live using a firearm, that tells the modern day liberal that we need to take everybody's guns away. And they live under this fallacy, this fantasy, that if they do that, then everyone will be safe, which is just stupid. Let me put some emphasis on that. It's stupid because there will always be two groups that will always be armed. One's the government and the other is the criminal. So who are you taking the weapons away from? The law-abiding citizen, the person that's not breaking the law. So whether you're taking away that right because you don't want to see them defend themselves, or you don't want to see them have recreation, or you don't want to see them hunting, the three examples I gave Mr. Liberal at the fair, doesn't matter. You're willing to take all those rights away, hoping that in some way the criminal will just hand theirs in too. And that the government won't abuse their right with the remaining weapons. And we see that through history, that when tyranny is going to reign, the government has rounded up the weapons from the people. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to know that and see that. You have to be a historian. You look to history, and that's what makes the UN Gun Control Treaty such a bad thing. Now, a lot of folks, you can go to Snoops, you can go to Wikipedia, and some of these places are saying this treaty is not going to affect U.S. gun rights. Well, that's not true. That's a lie. This will affect your gun rights because one of the first things they do is make all the information of every American citizen that owns a gun, a handgun, available to this UN Council. So all these countries that are not American friendly, that certainly are envious of America because of our freedom, including our gun rights, they'll have that information. People like Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, he's going to have that information. He's railing and ranting and pushing this forward. What is the idea that this jackwagon is even part of the United Nations? But look at all the other countries that have issues with America, that would like to take us down a notch, that would like to corral the freedom that we have. These European socialistic countries, their people don't have the gun freedoms that we have. There isn't any place on the planet that has the freedoms that we have. And these liberals in America that think like socialists, Hillary Clinton that's going to sign this UN gun treaty, and Barack Obama who's going to sign it, even if it's not ratified by the Congress until it's renounced by the president, it will have an effect. So you hope that when Mitt Romney comes in, he will renounce this treaty, whether or not it's ratified by the Congress. Gun rights are important, and liberals do not see that reality as you and I do here in mainstream conservative America, and we have to collectively stand up and fight for these rights, or liberals will take them away. One bullet, one clip, one gun at a time.